I couldn't shake the worry after seeing the news. The plane my husband was on, bound for an overseas business trip, had crashed. I tried calling him, but the call wouldn't go through. My heart raced, desperate for a response. Then, a casual message popped up from him, "Just arrived." Relief flooded over me, but it was fleeting. The news update on the screen claimed there were no survivors. What? How could this be? Wasn't the plane supposed to be safe? My name is Ella. I've been married to my husband, Caden, for 5 years, and we have a daughter, Mila, who will soon turn 3. I left my job when I got pregnant, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Mila's terrible twos have passed, and lately, she's been more helpful around the house. Those challenging days are behind us, and now I'm happily raising her with much less stress. While my bond with Mila grew stronger, Caden and I drifted into a routine of indifference. Recently, he seemed consumed by work, only coming home to sleep. Sometimes, he would return with the scent of women's perfume on him, probably from entertaining clients at clubs. He was working long hours, including weekends, leaving little time for Mila. "Papa, don't you like me anymore?" Mila asked, her voice tinged with sadness as I hugged her close, gently stroking her hair. "Of course not, sweetheart. Papa's just very busy with work. He's doing all this so we can live comfortably. He promised to be here for your birthday on Sunday, and we'll celebrate together. We'll have so much fun." Mila's loneliness was heartbreaking, so I pleaded with Caden to be there for her birthday. "I'll definitely take the day off," he reassured me, and I started looking forward to celebrating as a family. Mila's birthday is next month. We plan to invite my in-laws and have a big celebration. They live just a 15-minute drive away, and since we see them often, Mila is very attached to them. Caden has a younger sister, Camilla, who has 2 children. Although she lives in the same city, my in-laws treat both their grandchildren equally, without favoritism. I know some families prefer their daughter's children over their daughter-in-laws, especially when the grandchild is a girl. Some even pressure the mother to have a son to carry on the family name. That's why I'm so grateful to my in-laws, who love Mila unconditionally. One day, Caden informed me, "I have a business trip abroad for 2 weeks starting on the 8th of next month." My heart sank. Wait, a business trip from the 8th? For 2 weeks? Yes, to America. The flight alone will take more than half a day. I stared at him, unable to hold back my frustration. "You do remember Mila's birthday is on the 10th, right? We promised to celebrate together." I told her that today. She was already feeling sad, wondering if you don't care about her anymore. How could you break your promise to our daughter on her birthday? Just thinking about how this will affect her tears me apart. My anger surged, hot and intense. "I don't have a choice. It's work. If I could, I'd love to celebrate with you." Caden's words struck me as I saw the regret in his eyes. I quickly apologized, realizing how upset I must have seemed. "You're right. I'm sorry. I just got a bit emotional. I feel so bad for Mila." Caden gently patted my shoulder. "I'll make it up to her. Tell me what Mila would like as a present. My parents will be there, so she won't be alone. And I promise we'll all celebrate together next year, okay?" I smiled weakly, emphasizing, "You better." Reluctantly, I decided to let it go this time. Even though I was worried about Mila, I resolved to do my best to decorate and cook so she wouldn't feel Caden's absence too deeply. I spoke with my in-laws about Caden's business trip and asked if they could stay over for Mila's birthday. "A business trip on Mila's birthday? Don't worry, we've got it covered. Your father-in-law has already started making arrangements to stay over," my mother-in-law reassured me, lifting my spirits. If this could bring even a little happiness to Mila. The next day, I broke the news about Caden's overseas trip to my daughter. As expected, Mila's eyes welled up with tears, her face a mask of sadness. "But guess what? Grandpa and Grandma are staying over for your birthday," I said, trying to inject some cheer into my voice. To my relief, Mila's face brightened a bit. The day after Caden left, my mother-in-law called. "Ella, do you need anything for tomorrow? We've got a present ready and reserved a cake, but is there anything else you'd like? It must be tough handling everything on your own. If you need help, just say the word. We'll come over early tomorrow." I was touched by her thoughtfulness and quickly thanked her. "Thank you, really. We've just done the shopping and picked out what Mila wanted. We're all set with the decorations too. Thank you so much for the present and cake." "No problem at all. We had fun choosing them. Your father-in-law has been buzzing with excitement for a week now. I had to remind him not to get too ahead of himself. She chuckled, and I couldn't help but smile. I was so grateful to have such kind in-laws. Even without Caden, I was confident that tomorrow would still be a joyful day. After we chatted for a bit longer, my mother-in-law shifted the conversation. By the way, has Caden arrived yet? He mentioned he'd be flying out again after landing, right? Yes, he said he'd be taking a smaller plane after he arrived. He should be there by now, but I haven't heard from him yet. Maybe there was a delay. I glanced at the flight number he'd given me, planning to check on it after our call. Ella, was Caden's trip to America? My mother-in-law's voice suddenly trembled, sending a shiver down my spine. Yes, why? Turn on the TV right now. They're reporting a plane crash in America. What? I rushed to turn on the TV, just in time to catch the emergency news coverage of a crash. The phone slipped from my hand as my mother-in-law's screams echoed through the line. I quickly picked it up again. Ella, stay calm. It's not certain that it's Caden's plane. You're right, but even as I said the words, a wave of dread washed over me. What if it was his flight? The news anchor's words struck me like a bolt of lightning. They mentioned the same aircraft Caden had been on. Mother-in-law, it's Caden's plane. What do we do? Overwhelmed by the devastating reality, I collapsed to the floor, tears streaming uncontrollably as fear consumed me. Ella, my mother-in-law's voice jolted me back to reality. Ella, stay strong. We don't know anything for sure about Caden yet. Call him first. I'm coming over right now, so try to stay calm, okay? Yes, I replied, though my voice shook with fear. As soon as I hung up, I dialed Caden's number, my heart pounding, but all I got was the hollow sound of the ringing. No, this can't be happening. Why isn't he answering? In a panic, I sent him a text. Are you okay? I gripped my phone tightly, my eyes glued to the screen. Then, almost like a miracle, a message popped up. Just arrived. Relief flooded through me, and I burst into tears. Thank goodness, thank goodness. But as I was about to respond, the words on the TV caught my ear. Furthermore, there are no survivors. My heart stopped. No survivors? What are they saying? This was supposed to be the same flight Caden was on. My hands trembled as I tried to call him again, but the call wouldn't connect. Why aren't you answering? I whispered, dread settling over me like a dark cloud. When I switched to texting, Caden responded, I just arrived at the airport and need to pick up my luggage and stuff. His nonchalant tone only deepened my anxiety and frustration. The news reported a plane crash. I was terrified. Please, at least answer the phone or video call me. Crash? I'm fine. I'll call you later. I have to move now. Caden's reply was cold and dismissive. Despite my repeated attempts to reach him, he didn't respond. I was relieved to know he was safe, but my unease was only heightened by a call from my mother-in-law. I tried contacting Caden's company before coming over. They said he's on a long-term vacation. A business trip abroad? Is that what they said? My mother-in-law's words hit me like a punch to the gut. It dawned on me, Caden's so-called business trip to America was a lie from the start. Had I ever felt such bitterness toward him before? Determined, I decided to share everything with my mother-in-law, his frequent absences, lack of interest in family, and now, the unsettling perfume on his clothes. I had avoided jumping to conclusions about the perfume, but the lie about the business trip made it impossible to ignore the possibility of infidelity. My mother-in-law's anger was palpable. That fool, we were so naive to worry about him. Ella, come stay with us. It must be tough for you and Mila alone. I accepted her offer. Once I moved in, my in-laws apologized profusely. Even my sister-in-law came over to offer support and comfort. I felt their kindness deeply, and despite their support, I couldn't shake the question, why, Caden? Soon after, I hired a private detective to gather evidence of his infidelity. The detective sent me a photo of Caden at the airport with his affair partner. The betrayal was undeniable. 2 weeks later, Caden called me. Hello, where are you? I just got back from my business trip and can't get into the house. Can you come unlock the door? His voice was indifferent, as if nothing had happened. I was ready to confront him with the harsh reality of his deceit. Even if I came over, I wouldn't be able to open the door. I don't have the key, and even if I did, the old key would have been replaced. What? Replaced? What are you talking about? Is this really Ella? I could hear Caden's frustration rising through the phone. I've moved out. I can't stay with someone who cheats and goes on a deceitful trip on our daughter's birthday. What are you saying? Caden's attempt to play innocent only fueled my anger. I know everything. I know you took a long-term vacation and went to Europe, not America. Calm down, Ella. There must be a misunderstanding. Maybe you're confusing me with Mr. Cruz, who took a long-term vacation. Do you? Don't try to fool me. You've been cheating while claiming you were working overtime and on weekends. I couldn't keep my voice down. My frustration boiled over, but I stuck to the facts. I'm divorcing you, and I'll make sure you pay alimony and child support. Caden's response was desperate. Wait, please. What? I demanded. I'm sorry, I did cheat, but it was just for fun. The one I truly love is you, Ella. I was disgusted. His words were fading into meaningless excuses. I needed to say more. Nice try, but I can't believe someone who prioritized a cheating trip over our daughter's birthday. Do you really think saying it was just for fun will make everything okay? Stop it. I will never forgive you or your affair partner. Caden snapped back with irritation, completely abandoning his previous tone. I'm the only one apologizing here, and you're acting so superior. Do you think you have anything to thank for the life you have now? You'd be the one struggling if we divorced. Don't make a fuss over cheating. You're fixated on the birthday. How important can a birthday be? At that moment, my sister-in-law Camilla grabbed the phone from me. Ella doesn't need to be with someone who can't even value their own daughter's birthday. What? Camilla, why are you with Ella? Caden sounded taken aback by my sister-in-law's sudden intervention, but that was only the beginning. I'm here too. What, Mom? And Dad's here as well, I continued. We knew you wouldn't come home. We expected you to call, so we all waited together. Your brother-in-law is looking after Mila. My father-in-law's voice rang out. You're no longer our son. Don't ever come back to this house. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law added their voices to the chorus. Your belongings are stored in our shed. If you want them, come by tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll throw everything away. Big brother, what you did to Ella is disgusting. The worst. Don't ever associate with us again. Wait, everyone, I was wrong. It was just a moment of weakness. I'm sorry, please don't say these things, Caden pleaded, his voice trembling, on the verge of tears as he desperately tried to hold on to something, but no one was willing to forgive him. I shouted, it's unacceptable to be cheated on under the guise of a moment of weakness. You've been cheating for a long time, and you're still lying. How much longer do you plan to mock us? Enough. If you don't agree to the divorce, I'll take you to court. Panicked, Caden agreed to the divorce, pleading, please, no court. The next day, Caden showed up at my in-laws' house, bowing low at the entrance, but the family only gave him cold, unforgiving stares. Unable to endure the rejection, he left with only a few of his belongings. Afterward, I filed a claim for damages against both him and his affair partner. Once the affair became public and damages were sought, his affair partner immediately ended their relationship. I've ended things with him, so please forgive me, she pleaded, but I was resolute about pursuing the damages. As a result, she accumulated significant debt and reportedly began working in the night industry to make ends meet. Once the affair became public at the company, my husband couldn't handle the judgment and chose to resign voluntarily. Despite this, he still needs money for damages and child support. I've heard he's now working long hours from morning till night, with no time for himself. As for me, I'm still living with my in-laws, who continue to treat Mila and me with the same kindness as before. I'm committed to finding a way to repay their generosity in the future.